Many classrooms in general, but specifically many language classrooms, spend a lot of time on student presentations, and it can be sort of a black hole for instructional time. When we have a student do a 5-minute presentation, it won't take us 5 minutes. There's going to be setup time, there's going to be transition time, there's going to be students that don't do it on the right day. The students who are not participating in that presentation are likely going to be pretty passive, doing whatever the requirement is of them to ask a question or maybe propose something at the end, but it's not a very interactive format for presentations. So I'd like to propose a different format that is really fun for kids to do, really interactive, and a lot more movement than maybe you're used to with your presentations. One thing that's really great about it too is you can do makeup for this anytime. So if a student's not there for presentation day, they can come in before or after school during prep time and record their own presentation on the lab, and you can upload that to your Canvas site or wherever. But basically, here's what you do. You record all the students, or you record whichever students are going to present. If it's a group, you may just group them in groups of 4, like we talked about, and record one of them. If it's an individual presentation, you would record all of them. So let's say in this presentation, we're doing individuals presenting something. So every single individual in this class has done research on something. Let's say it's a Spanish-speaking country, because we're talking about Spanish right now. Okay, so they've each researched their own country. They developed a PowerPoint or a video or something that's visual that will go along with their presentation. So what they're going to do is they're going to put on their headset. They're going to present to their computer, or basically to the headset, as if they were presenting in front of the class. So you're going to say, everybody, open up your PowerPoint and go through it like you were presenting it to the class. I'm going to do a recording of your presentation, and we're going to watch them later. So right now, I hit record. Every single student in the class starts talking. And here, when I set a maximum time, it's a hard limit. I can say you have 5 minutes. You need to talk for 5 minutes. And you cannot talk more than 5 minutes because that's when the recording is going to end. I generally recommend shorter presentations for this. 2 to 3 minutes, if it's an individual, is perfect amount of time. They get used to talking for short amounts of time. And honestly, no one pays attention much longer than that. So if they keep going on and on and on about GDP or, population or any of those things that some kids do in their presentations, you're just not going to get the same level of engagement. So we've recorded. All these recordings are saved on the lab. We don't want to end the test, though. We want to keep the test open because when I play back these recordings now, they play back different recordings to every headset. So every headset is just going to hear what Heather did on Heather's headset, what Patricia did on Patricia's headset. But the trick here, and this may have to wait till after COVID times, but the trick here is that they're not using their own headset to listen. So once they've recorded, they leave their Chromebook open, they stand up, and they go to another headset. They put on the headset, and you begin the audio from the beginning. You play back somebody else's audio for them. So every single kid is listening to a presentation. They're clicking through the PowerPoint as the person indicates to them on their recording in time with that audio presentation. And then what I like to do is have them leave a comment. That means a sticky note, something on the desk that says, hey, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't, or mostly here's what I liked, and then they'll have their own reflection paper that they write. So they need to take notes on what they've learned. Then you say, well, now we've heard that one, get up and do it again. And in this way, you determine how much time is spent listening as well. So whereas before, every presentation that was presented to the class, the whole class had to hear it. Now, what you're going to get is a bunch of people who listen to, let's say, 6 or 7 presentations, but when they get back to their table, they didn't listen to the same 6 or 7. So now they can share back with their table what they learned. This is called Instant Expert, where they share what they learned from a presentation, and there's a legitimate knowledge gap where these other kids in their table group did not learn that information. So if you do some kind of application activity after that, where the table group has to take what they've learned about specific countries and make generalizations, maybe they've got to graph something they've learned, basically take that knowledge that they gained from the presentations and put it into a product, then you've created a real reason for communication. So again, the steps go like this. Everyone presents using their own computer and the headset. You go back to the beginning of the audio, everyone changes places, they listen to different ones, different presentations, and they record their thoughts, record their the information that they learned, and then they put that into application afterwards. If you do this, I guarantee you will get considerably more engagement than if you have students presenting at the front of the class and other students are asked to do something with that information. This is a much more interactive format.